Daniel here. What we're doing today is what people have commonly called a Bixie. This is a kind of a variant of that, bob and a pixie together, except it's getting its inspiration from shag. So we're doing a little bit of round layers. The goal is to do round layers here, round layers in the back. We're going to do them kind of incrementally, and maybe add in a triangular graduation there at the end and make it look really nice and tight. But for right now, I'm layering her hair and I'm following her head shape. What this will do is it will actually give me a layer that falls and mirrors the head shape. And I know that's wild to think about, but at the same time, it's not so crazy. And let me explain why. What you do outside of the head will determine what it does when it falls. So this is what we call natural fall. So now I will start to see a mimicry of her head shape in her haircut. And right when we get up to that front, we're just cutting it really flat. That way, the flatness of that layer plus that roundness will kind of clump together through that front area, and we'll get that nice push of body that will make the layers just kind of really pop out. And if she wants to put any body in there, she can as well. So you can see what we're doing is we're actually using a stationary guide to cut her hair. And I'm kind of adjusting now that we're working into the back. And I'm still using my over direction forwards. My elevation is up high. This is to get a softer look. If I wanted a softer look, I would elevate more. If I want to get a heavier look, I'll elevate less. And this is just basically the rules of hair cutting. Lower elevations means heavier weight. Higher elevations means lighter weight. Vertical sections aids in that layering process, which is why I'm using those vertical sections as I'm working to that front. I am working around the head shape, which means that I have to be conscious of where my body position is actually at. So you'll see me constantly shifting body positions here. I'm now working a round shape in the back. So that shortest point is around the ear, and I'm just getting it nice and organized and out of the way. And then we're going to work this shorter length down into that bottom length because Dakota's trying to grow out her hair. So I don't want to cut off anything that I don't have to. So that length retention is the absolute key here. Working up the head shape, 2 is going to be over directed 1, 3 to 2. And then probably from around 2 to 3, I'll start using a stationary guideline and over directing everything to that. Keeping everything clean here, and also my sectioning is determining where you see how that's placed right there. That's determining how that weight's going to distribute across almost perfectly. If I stay parallel to that, I think really more so fashion is about a look. And so right through here, I'm taking out just off of the length. I'm now creating a triangular shape as we did those round layers on the inside. So round internally, but triangular externally. And that is just a really cool concept. And I keep moving back and forth. You think I'd be on a swivel chair, but I'm not. And again, I don't want to push the hair. As you see that I'm cutting with the tips of my scissors, I'm very careful not to push the hair, because if I push the hair, then what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to get an accurate line. So here I'm just grabbing small bits of the hair and I'm removing weight at the ends. And I'm removing that weight because what that's going to do is it's going to end up making that beautiful color underneath pop. And that's what we mean by dimension whenever we're working with hair, is the colors work with the haircut, with the curls, in order to be able to give an object a three-dimensional look to it. Flat colors give you flat surfaces. That's just how things are going to go. So again, I don't want to go too deep in with that point cutting there. If I wanted to, I could create more separation by notching, but that close to the hairline, I have to remember to be able to move with tact and purpose there, because if I go too short, that's going to make her hair stick up. And that once it starts sticking up, we move out of our function, right? We as hairdressers have to follow the form follows function. We have to follow that so carefully, because if I need to stab something, I'll use a fork. If I'm talking about food, if I need to scoop something, I'd use a spoon. So the form of the fork is determined by what you need it to do. Really removing weight versus using texturizing scissors, which I tend to use if I'm just trying to remove bulk. When I speak in terms of weight distribution, what I'm really saying is how am I distributing that weight in terms of how it's falling? Texturizing scissors won't necessarily do that. So real quick, I just want to talk about this graduation here, because I'm just pulling that out just to give that hair at the bottom there a nice bevel. Sorry for it being just a little bit out of frame. What ended up happening was I just didn't catch it when I was filming it. But what you can see, what's actually off camera, is just a corner. And that corner is where the layers didn't go all the way through the last piece of hair on the bottom, because I didn't take them there. So I'm just chopping off that corner and just making sure the bottom of her hair just kind of bevels in. Now, I know that's interesting, because you say maybe, Daniel, you did a round layer through the back there. Why would you do a graduation on it? Well, I'm trying to change that little shape right there in that center. And I'm trying to maintain that layer through the sides, which means that I only want to do a little tiny graduation. So we're moving on to the actual blow drying now. And this, I chose to keep the blow dry simple. Her hair is awesome. All I did was put in a light oil, and we did a flat wrap there, and now I'm blow drying for volume. So I'm blow drying it against natural fall. And I keep cycling back and forth between hot and cold blasts in order to be able to set that, moving it around, basically not pressing it up against the head. On the sides, I pressed it up against the head, and right now I'm actually taking my texturizing scissors and just removing just rote bulk. I'm walking out as I'm doing that, and the reason I'm walking out as I'm doing it is it changes the amount of density. It walks the density out versus just moving it in one spot. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like what I do, follow for more. I'd love for you to be involved.